I've got some bad news. I was just let go from my job. This fucking sucks. Yeah, it's kind of a shitty day today. Alright, so about 2 months ago, I got a text from my manager telling me that he wanted to have a conversation. Something in me just kind of knew what was about to happen, and it was still, shocking to some degree. It was a lot. It was a lot to process. I cried the entire day. After the phone call was over, I went over to Jeffrey's house, and I just laid in his bed and I cried for 6 hours. It was a very tearful day. And it's so funny. That was the first time I was laid off like that. I've never been fired before. I've always been the one to leave the job. It really was a grieving process. Here was this thing that was still going to exist outside of me. I definitely can say now that I have had plenty of time to process the loss of a job, especially one that was just everything I needed at the time. I don't know, it was very weird. No hate to the place I worked. I genuinely loved everyone I worked with, but something about working there, and I think part of it was because I was fully remote, I just had this lingering feeling that something was missing, that's I just wasn't feeling fulfilled in this way that I couldn't quite put my finger on. And I think part of it was I do thrive when I work with people versus working remotely. I think remote work is valid and it's great, but doing that full time, I think, was really eating away at my psyche and my sense of team and community. I like to go into an office. I like to be around other people. So that was definitely jarring for me. And in the last 2 months, I've also learned that routine is so important for me. Washing my face every day and night, getting dressed as if I'm gonna go somewhere, even if I don't go anywhere. I have to do those things for myself. I started doing makeup. A couple times a week, I'll just wear makeup, even if I don't plan on going anywhere, because it gives me a sense of purpose. And decluttering my room, organizing, finding a home for things, and making sure that everything has a place to go to at the end of the day so I don't feel overwhelmed by clutter. Because the way you present yourself and the spaces you occupy have so much impact on your mental health and your sense of stability and sense of self. And also just reminding myself every day that this isn't permanent, that I have options, and that is what I've learned in the last 2 months of being unemployed. It's really hard when your job is your creative pursuits. When I took that job, I was so burnt out already that then going into this new job and creating content, not even for your own creative pursuit, it's for the sake of someone else. When you're making things for other people, it can really get you down. And I think after being let go, I really sat down with myself and I told myself, okay, well, I can really go wherever I want from here. I'm living in a city that I actually want to live in, so there's no urgency to move. So really it's a matter of, well, what do I want from here? What are my goals? What are my aspirations? I sort of came to this conclusion that I do want to be a creator. I do want to share stories, but as of right now, I want those stories to be mine. I want to feel like I'm adding something to the world, I'm done telling other people's stories. I want to tell my own. I want to create my own things, and I want to claim and own the things I make again. It was really hard to accept that about myself, because once I did, well, then I'm faced with this problem of I need to make money. I need to make money in order to do the things I want to do. And I was really struggling with this thought of, I want my career to be me and my creativity, but I need a job. I need an income outside of that in order to get to that point. And I was talking with a friend, and she was like, well, then just treat your creative pursuits as your job and treat your job or your stream of revenue as your side hustle in order to get to where you want to be. And I was like, wait, that's actually such a good way to look at it, because I think there's a lot of judgment in the creative space when you identify as a creative and it's like, oh, but like I am working at a Starbucks, or I'm working a cashiering job, I'm a waitress, I do this. And there's a lot of judgment within these creative spaces where it's like, well, if you're not putting your all into your creative pursuits, what, like, you're wasting your time. Like, don't get a corporate job because you could be using that time to grind and to be making daily vlogs and all this stuff. And I think we need to give ourselves grace and space, and it's okay to do other things that don't relate to your creative pursuits. I think it's healthy. I think me tying my career to my ability to tell stories has been incredibly toxic for me and has caused me to burn out in a way that I didn't even know possible. So I've gotten to this point where I am looking at a job at a 9 to 5 as a way to support myself so then I can go and be creative outside of that. So yeah, I'm looking at business admin jobs, I'm looking at receptionist jobs, I'm looking at cashiering jobs, front of house, front desk, greeter, hostess. Like, we should take away the shame of trying to pay our bills in order to survive, so then we can have the time and the space to go after the things we want. I think for like a good amount of time, I was like, oh, I have to be a video editor for YouTubers. I have to make TikToks for people. Like, this is the career I'm in. This is the career I have to always be in. And that's not true. And I'm glad it's not true, because as much as I love creating content, doing it for other people is so draining, especially when I want to do it for myself. Because like I would spend all day making TikToks, making YouTube videos. And then when the workday was over, I would have all of these ideas that I just kept pushing to the side, and then by the time my workday was over, I didn't want to look at them because I was so creatively drained from creating concepts for other people. And like, if that's what you want to do with your life, great. I don't want to do that for other people. I want to do that for me. I want to do that for me. I want to tell my stories and give my perspective on life. And I think that's fair. I think that's valid. I felt like there was so much judgment to just like say that out loud, to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm fine with being a receptionist. Like, I don't care, as long as I can pay my bills and then have the time and energy at the end of the day and have weekends to then do the things I enjoy doing in my free time, whether that's vlogging or creating an elaborate video essay or reading Reddit stories or journaling or reading. I literally, since being unemployed, have finally picked up reading again, and I'm reading this Agatha Christie book. Like, there's no shame in changing our minds or taking a step back to be like, is what I'm doing actually what I want to do with my life, or am I just doing this because this is like the path that has been laid out before me, and if I don't follow this path, I'm gonna be judged by my peers for failing. Bitch, there ain't no such thing as failing if that's what you want to do with your time. I once heard someone say, like, if the doors that are being presented to you don't open to rooms that you want to be in, that you want to occupy, then build your own damn door, build your own damn room. Like, just because this is the way it's been done does not mean it's the way you need to do it. So yeah, I'm taking a step back. I don't care. I just want to live a fulfilled life. And for me, fulfillment comes from being happy and having the time to spend with the people I love and do the things I love and eat the food I love and be in a place I love. Like, I don't give a damn. I do not give a damn about anyone or anything else. I just want to live my life in quiet fulfillment and share the parts of my life I want to share. It's as simple as that. It's so funny how, like, getting laid off puts everything into perspective. You really, like, start to look at the world around you and this room that you've built and put yourself in, and you're like, wait, is this even where I want to be? Is this even what I want to be doing? And if it is what I want to be doing, am I going about it in the way I want to go about it? Because it's like, I love video editing, I love making videos, but I didn't like the way I was doing it. It's kind of like this perfect storm, like, I moved out here to LA, I got laid off. Now what? Like, I can literally do whatever I want. I'm in a new city. I don't have a job. I'm not in school. Like, I could go back to school. Wink, wink. I could get a completely different career. I could, you know, make new friends. Like, I've had so much free time. I've, like, gone to, like, all these, like, different events with, like, other creators and, like, really just got to, like, pick the brains of, like, some really cool people. So, yeah, I've put a lot of thought into this journey that I'm starting, and I hope you want to stick around and see where I go, because I'm excited to see what happens. In the words of a dear old friend of mine, I am just a seed waiting, ready to burst open, and I just needed the right soil and the right environment to do that. I think I finally found my patch of grass where I can grow into the most miraculous flower you've ever seen. So I have a lot of good feelings about the future. And I'm not worried for 1 second. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are definitely days where I'm like, I need a job because, like, my severance is only gonna last so long. But I don't know. I know no matter what happens, like, I'm gonna be okay. You know, divine universe influence, but it's also, like, because of the hard work that I'm putting into myself and into my life, and that I do have some sense of control. If I want to go after certain things in my life, then I need to emulate, like, positivity and what's the golden rule? It's like treat others how you want to be treated. So I just know that if I stick to my guns, if I keep doing what I'm doing, like, things are going to turn out okay. Because they are. Things are great. I moved to LA. I did all of that by myself. I paid for my flight ticket. I figured out how to break my lease without having to pay any money for it. I put a down payment on this apartment. I pay rent by myself. I am an adult. I'm 23. I'm gonna be 24 in a few months. Like, I got this. I fucking got this, yo. Let's fucking go. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens. And it's not always gonna be up, you know, there's gonna be ebbs and flows, but it's a ride that I enjoy taking every day.